wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
This week on Take It Out, we tell you about a new scam that can steal your money. We explain how you can prevent chatbots from collecting your data. And we show you how AI is revolutionizing pet care. This and more on WION World is One at these times.
On Wings this week, a unique spot in Rajasthan's desert that provides a sustainable respite from the heat. We also highlight how foreign tourist arrivals to India is at the highest levels since the pandemic. North Korea, a unique destination, might open for tourism again in December. Can it become the ultimate adventure? Watch Wings this weekend on WION World is One.
Everyone loves a contest. But sport isn't just about victory and defeat. When the GOATs in sport speak, you hear it first on WION.
You have to play good cricket over a period of time.
I actually pushed myself right out of the damn tournament.
We go beyond the stats. Our stories are quoted the world over.
At WION, sport is part of our DNA. Come, join us on this journey. Weekdays 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT.
Hello and welcome to the West Asia Post. I am Gravitas coming to you from Beirut, Lebanon. And this is WION's weekly show where we bring you all things new from the fast-paced region, West Asia. A lot has happened this week. Now, the keys to a truce in Gaza are in the hands of two men, two sworn enemies, Benjamin Netanyahu and Yahya Sinwar. With the world appealing for the end of this war in Gaza, why are the Israeli forces raiding the occupied West Banks? And what does a ceasefire mean to either of these men? Also in Lebanon, rockets and fire and deadly exchange between Hezbollah and the Israeli forces. Did it change anything on the ground? We bring you a ground report from Beirut. We have a lot lined up for today, but first, let's start by taking a look at the headlines.
Devastating floods triggered by heavy rainfall in Yemen have caused widespread destruction in the Arab nation. The deadly floods have already claimed dozens of lives. Kuwait state oil giant announced a 15-year deal for the supply of natural gas from Qatar. Qatar Energy will annually supply 3 million tons of liquefied natural gas to Kuwait. 4 historic markets in northern Syria's Aleppo, heavily damaged during some of the most intense fighting of the 13-year civil war, have reopened.
In the latest, the United States is saying that the fate of a truce deal is in the hands of Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas. Now, will the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar, reach a truce deal? And while the mediators are working around the clock in Doha for a deal, why is Israel not only striking Gaza, but also the occupied West Bank? Watch.
The stumbling Gaza ceasefire talks are raising a pressing question. Will Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas's new boss, Yahya Sinwar, agree to a truce deal? For the past 11 months, the Israeli Prime Minister has reiterated that he wants a complete and total victory in the Gaza Strip. He has also vowed to get all the hostages freed from Hamas's captivity. Many Israelis and experts see Netanyahu's goals as unattainable. Another major sticking point in the ongoing negotiation talks is Netanyahu's insistence on Israeli troops being stationed on the Gaza-Egypt corridor. On Thursday, the Security Cabinet backed the Israeli Prime Minister's stance. Israel wants control over the Philadelphia corridor as a precondition for any ceasefire. According to the local media, the development has been well received by the United States. But domestically, Netanyahu has clashed with his own defense minister about their vision of the endgame in Gaza. Hamas chief Yahya Sinwar also wants to end the war, but on his own terms. Sinwar wants reassurance that Israel will withdraw its troops from Gaza and not strike the enclave after hostages are freed. For Sinwar, the release of high-profile Palestinian prisoners as part of the deal is sacred. Himself a long-serving prisoner freed in an exchange, Sinwar wants assurances that Palestinians can return to rebuild their homes. At present, both Israel and Hamas have agreed to a localized humanitarian pause in the Gaza Strip due to the polio outbreak. While the negotiators are working to end the Gaza war, another region not so far away from the enclave is facing Israeli strikes: the occupied West Bank. IDF is carrying out an operation in the West Bank that Israel claims is aimed at preventing attacks on its citizens. In the latest remarks, Israeli military says it killed a local Hamas commander in the flashpoint city of Jenin. The IDF says it killed over 10 militants in the northern West Bank since Tuesday. Israel calls its West Bank operation a response to an attempted suicide bombing in Tel Aviv last week. IDF claimed the bomber Jafar Mona's explosive detonated prematurely in Nablus. Palestinians view such raids as part of Israeli effort to control the territory where 3 million civilians live under military rule. As international players focus on Gaza, Israeli settlers continue to seize land at an alarming rate, pushing the occupied territory to a boiling point.
Now to Lebanon, the country I am currently standing in. In the latest, Hezbollah fired 320 plus drones. They attacked an army base just northern Tel Aviv. And after that, everything seems to have de-escalated. But the war is still going on. It's very complicated in Lebanon. And to help further understand the situation, I bring you this exclusive ground report. Take a look. Lebanon's Hezbollah group and the Israeli forces have been trading cross-border fire since October 7 last year. Netanyahu administration was anticipating Hezbollah's revenge strike after it killed its top commander Fuad Shukr last month. In the early hours of August 25, Israeli forces struck Lebanon with 100 jets. The IDF called it a preemptive strike, claiming it was notified that Hezbollah was about to avenge Fuad Shukr's killing. Moments after the Israeli attack, Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah said the group struck 11 Israeli bases with over 300 Katyusha drones. Lebanese group chief said the main target was Israel's key military base near Tel Aviv. Nasrallah called the mission a success.
كانت النتيجة مرضية.
If the result is satisfactory and achieves the intended goal, then we consider that the operation in retaliation for the killing of Al-Hajj Mohsin and the targeting of the HEA is done.
On Sunday, IDF said it hit about 30 southern Lebanese towns and villages in its largest attack since October. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Iran and its axis of resistance that Sunday's strike is not the end of the story. Time and again, Lebanon has dealt with trading deadly fires with the Israeli forces. However, Sunday's strike was one of the deadliest exchange of fires in its history. How did this exchange impact Lebanon?
The Israelis said there was a preemptive strike. Nasrallah and Hezbollah denied that. They only said that their targets were hits. In the streets of Lebanon, the news might tell you that there is war, but the way the people are living says otherwise.
While the strikes in Lebanon's south are a daily occurrence, WION traveled in the streets of Beirut to gauge the impact of the ongoing tensions at the country's border.
Just to find out more about how the Lebanese are carrying on their daily lives, let's ask someone who's sitting in a cafe casually. Are you afraid of the war right now?
Afraid as a normal human being, the sense of fear definitely, but عمليا موضوعيا practically, yeah, I'm living my life like anyone else because it's out of our hands mostly.
At a time when tensions are soaring high in West Asia, an American journalist is back to her Lebanon roots. Rania Kalek tells WION how the fear of war has become a part of people's daily lives.
Today in Beirut, I think the atmosphere has become one of an adjustment and a kind of normalcy to this tit-for-tat between the Israelis and Hezbollah, to the point where people sometimes do fear an escalation, but they've gotten so used to it, it doesn't register here the same way it maybe does in international media or to international audiences. So when Lebanon's in the news because Israel and Hezbollah are hitting each other, you know, when people read about that in the US or in Europe, I think it looks a lot, it is scary, but it looks a lot scarier than the way people here might feel, specifically in Beirut. In Lebanon as a country, I mean, it really depends where you live. There's people in this country who don't even think twice about what's happening because they live far away from where the bombings are taking place. I think mostly what people are concerned about is the economic impact. This was the tourist season. People left early because flights were getting canceled. It's these sorts of things that are concerning people more than being frightened about the war escalating because the war has just become so normal.
Hezbollah says it completed its first phase of its revenge strike. After the deadly exchange, will Hezbollah and Israeli forces put a pause on trading the cross-border fire?
Here in the streets of Beirut, people are saying things are a little less worrying after Hezbollah's strike and the Israeli reports about it. Nasrallah's speech was very clear. This is the end of that chapter, but it is not the end of the war. And now to Iran. Things are moving at a rapid pace in the Islamic Republic of Iran. After we reported last week about the President Pezeshkian's unity cabinet. In the latest, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said that there will be renewal of nuclear talks. But the supreme leader reiterated that Iran will avenge the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. Take a look.
Iran's rapidly growing nuclear capabilities has long been an object of concern and observation of the West. Iran shut its doors to negotiations on its enriched uranium after its 2015 nuclear talks failed with the P5+1 nations: the United States, United Kingdom, Russia, France, and China. Since then, Tehran has kept Washington and the International Atomic Energy Agency guessing about its plans. In May this year, the IAEA chief made a visit to Iran that he lamented had been unsatisfactory. He said Iran might be capable of assembling parts for a nuclear warhead. Iran kept up its hardline approach to nuclear talks till the sudden demise of its president Ebrahim Raisi. After the snap presidential polls in July, Iranians voted for a reformist president, Masoud Pezeshkian. In his brief campaign, Pezeshkian said he will negotiate directly with the United States to lift the sanctions that have taken a major toll on Iran's economy. Pezeshkian's admission to the office has given rise to new prospects. On Tuesday, Iran signaled a shift in its hardline approach toward the West. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said Tehran is open to negotiations with the US. Khamenei addressed his government, saying there is no harm in engaging with the enemy. The Supreme Leader also set clear red lines for talks under the government of reformist President Masoud Pezeshkian.
We shouldn't pin hopes on the enemy. We shouldn't wait for the enemy's agreement to go ahead with our plans. This doesn't, however, conflict with working with that enemy in some areas. There are no barriers, but don't pin hopes on them. Don't trust them.
The UN nuclear watchdog chief has also expressed hope for negotiations on a promised visit to Iran soon. It is unclear how much room Pezeshkian's administration will have in its dialogue with the US, given the soaring tensions in West Asia, due to the ongoing war in Gaza and the killing of Ismail Haniyeh in Iran. Time and again, Tehran has reiterated that it will avenge Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh's killing on its soil. While the threat of Iranian attack looms in West Asia, US has increased its military capabilities in the region. US says it takes the Iranian rhetoric seriously. Washington believes Tehran is both postured and poised to launch attack on Israel. At a ceremony for the armed forces at the Defense Ministry in Tehran, the Major General of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said, "Revenge for Ismail Haniyeh's killing is certain."
Revenge for this criminal act, whether by the resistance axis or by the Islamic Republic of Iran, is certain. The Islamic Republic of Iran will not fall into media games and provocations and will decide how and when its revolutionary action will be taken. The axis of resistance will carry out these revenges according to their capabilities and measures, and we witnessed a part of this yesterday.
Time and again, the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, has said that there is no way to mend ties with Turkey unless Turkish troops will be removed from Syrian soil. This was in a response to Turkey's Recep Tayyip Erdogan's openness and willingness to mend ties. In the next report, we ask a question: when would these two nations hit the refresh button? Take a look.
When the Syrian civil war broke out in 2011, Turkey severed ties with the Bashar al-Assad government. Its president Recep Tayyip Erdogan expressed support for anti-Assad forces, and his country became a lifeline for the Syrian opposition. Over 3 million Syrian refugees poured into Turkey, while along the border, Turkey's troops were fighting the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or the PKK terrorist group, being backed by Assad's forces. However, over the years, Erdogan has come around to the need for peace with the Syrian government. The most recent call to mend ties came on July 7th, when Erdogan said he would invite his Syrian counterpart for talks. Iraq's foreign minister said the potential meeting mediated by Moscow could be hosted in Baghdad. Last week, however, the Syrian president ended speculation around the potential meeting. Addressing Syria's newly elected parliament, Assad said efforts to mend ties with Turkey have yielded no results.
The phase that Syria is talking about is the phase of basis and concepts, because its success builds for the success of the procedures later. It's not true what some Turkish officials are sometimes talking about, that Syria said if the Turkish withdrawal from Syria did not happen, there would be no meeting. This is far from reality. We work on this subject in a systematic and realistic way. It's important to have clear goals and know how to walk towards these goals. Any possible steps will be based on sovereignty, limited by sovereignty, and its standards are the sovereignty.
The Syrian president has laid 2 conditions for attending the peace meeting. First, that Turkey withdraw its troops from Syria, and second, it stops support to Syrian opposition groups. Addressing the presence of Turkish troops, Assad said restoring a relationship means removing the causes that led to its destruction. Turkey says its military forces are in neighboring Syria to stop the war-torn country from falling under the sway of terror groups. It was only last year that Syria was welcomed back into the Arab fold. With the Assad government appearing secure and normalizing relations with Arab states who previously supported the opposition, many in Turkey feel the writing is on the wall and an agreement with the Syrian government is needed.
Arbaeen is one of the biggest religious events for Shia Muslims across the globe. They commemorate the 40th day of the martyrdom of Imam Hussein bin Ali bin Abi Talib. They do that by walking from Najaf in Iraq, where Imam Ali's shrine is, to Karbala in Iraq as well, where Imam Hussein's shrine is. This year, over 21 million people participated in this event in Iraq. We tell you more in this short report.
We confirm from the holy land of Karbala that we are moving forward in supporting our people, moving forward in supporting Imam Hussein in Karbala, in supporting our people in Gaza, and in supporting the truth and the oppressed, because the truth will triumph, just as blood triumphed over the sword. And just as Karbala triumphed, Gaza will triumph with the blood of its children, the blood of its women, and the blood of its elders, over all Zionist arrogance.
That's all we have for you on this episode of the West Asia Post. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup, always bringing you the most recent updates, news, and exclusive ground reports from the world's most volatile region. I am Radi Francis, signing off from Beirut, Lebanon. Keep on watching WION World is One.
As the 81st edition of the Venice Film Festival kicks off, we tell you everything about the movies in competition this year. Find out why luxury brands are hiring Indian A-listers as their ambassadors. And know some lesser-known facts about Stree 2-star Rajkumar Rao. All this and much more with me, Isha Hanspal, at these times only on WION eClub.
Famine hit Sudan as peace talks fall short yet again. US brokered truce talks collapse after mediators failed to convince the military to come to the negotiation table. South Africa is committed to strengthening bilateral trade and investment with India, says its trade minister, amid launch of the India-South Africa Chamber of Commerce. And one of the success stories of world cricket, Namibia, a country with a population of just 2.6 million with limited facilities and only 9 cricket grounds. That's this week on World of Africa at these times on WION.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at yowon.com.
Namaste. Hello friends. We did Dr. Subhash Chandra show, popularly known as DSC show, for 4 years, from August 2014 to August 2018. 28 states of Bharat. Of course, we reached out to all of you in 190 countries across the world. The show was very successful. Each episode was being watched by almost 25 million people every week. For past 6 years, the demand of the show has never died down. People write to us, people ask for the show to restart again. Hence, we are beginning the show once again on All Z Network, also on WION, which is the global network channel from India. Again, thank you for your love and affection. See you soon at Subhash Chandra Show.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at yoursarthi@such.org.in.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.